Hello and welcome to the Prelims PYQ analysis series of Drishti IAS. I'm Aisha, and in today's episode, the subject that we will be covering is Science and Technology, and this is the part 1 of Science and Technology PYQ series from the year 2019 to 2024. So, first of all, let us begin with the trend analysis. So, let us see the number of questions which basically comes from the science and tech aspect in the prelims of UPSC CSE. So if we will go from the year 2008 to the year 2023 and 2024, let us see. In the year 2008, there were around 25 questions. Then coming to 2012, there were around 10 questions. Then coming to 2017, there was 8 questions. Then 2019, 30, 2020, 13, 2021, 18, 2022, 14, 2023, 12. And in the year 2024, there were around 14 to 15 questions. So basically the number of questions from the science and tech in prelims, for example, will come around 10. So you can say average is from 10 to 12 or 13 questions. And these are the questions you can fetch exact marks. If you know, you know. You do not know, you do not know. It is not that you can guess in these. Because if it's about technology, either you know, either you do not know. So let us begin. So the first question is, who of the following is the author of the books The India Way and Why Bharat Matters? So that is Bhupendra Yadav, Nalin Mehta, Shashi Tharoor or Subramaniam Jaishankar. So the correct answer for this question was option D, Subramaniam Jaishankar. And Subramaniam Jaishankar has authored the following books, that is The India Way, that is Strategies for an Uncertain World in the year 2020. Second was Why Bharat Matters in the year 2024. Therefore, the correct answer is option D. Next. Consider the following statements. There were 3 statements given. First, lions do not have a particular breeding season. Unlike most other big cats, cheetahs do not roar. Third, unlike male lions, male leopards do not proclaim their territory by scent marking. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3? Correct answer was option A, that is 1 and 2 only. So first was correct, second is correct, third is wrong. Let us look at the explanation. It talks about that lions have no specific breeding season. The cubs can be produced roughly in every 2 years. So the breeding season can take place every 2 years. And the average gestation is between 3 and 4 months. And the litter size is usually the number of cubs that comes in one go comes from 1 to 4. Therefore, statement 1 is correct. Cheetahs belong to the purring cats subfamily and as such they do not roar. Purring cat subfamily means that the roar will not come. A very soft sound will come. That means that the convenient sound, you can say, a very soft sound, the roaring sound or the loud sound does not come. While if we talk about the roaring cats, so they are usually lions, tigers, jaguars and leopards. Therefore, statement 2 is also correct. So, first was lions do not have a particular breeding season. Correct. Second, unlike most other big cats, cheetahs do not roar. Correct. Now, let us see third one, and that is both male and female leopards use urine to mark their territories. So, leopards use unlike male lions, male leopards do not proclaim their territory by scent marking. This is wrong because male leopards also proclaim their territory by scent marking, and this is done through the use of urine. And when the leopards they urinate, then their legs they take it in the urine and then they move from one place to another marking the territory so that the scent of the urine can be traced. Therefore, the correct answer becomes option A, that is 1 and 2 only. Next question. Before moving forward, Drishti IAS has come up with the IAS Prelims 2025 General Science course. Few of the key features are 400 plus hours of classes, unlimited view time and prelims test series. This is in English medium. In case of any query, give us a call at 87501 87501. and you can also download the Drishti Learning app. Next question. Which one of the following shows a unique relationship with an insect that has co-evolved with it, and that is the only insect that can pollinate this tree? So that is fig, mahua, sandalwood, or silk cotton. The correct answer for this is option A, that is fig. Let us see. So the fig trees, they are famous for its aerial roots. So the aerial roots is what they are famous for, which sprout from branches and eventually reach the soil. So you see, are you able to see these trees? These are the roots of the fig trees. So they come from the branches and then they reach the roots or the soil. It means from upward to downward direction. And the tree also has a unique relationship with a wasp that has co-evolved with it and is the only insect that can pollinate it. So the relationship can be very easily seen with regard to the fig and the wasp. Then the body shapes and sizes of the wasp correspond exactly to those of the fig fruits. So like how the fig fruits, the wasp is also of that size. Therefore, the correct answer becomes option A, that is fig. Next question. Which one of the following statements best describes the role of B cells and T cells in the human body? They protect the body from environmental allergens. They elevate the body's pain and inflammation. They act as immunosuppressants in the body. And the last is, they protect the body from the diseases caused by pathogens. Correct answer is option D. They protect the body from the diseases caused by pathogens. Let us look at the explanation. So, the primary and secondary immune responses, they are carried out with the help of two types of special cells, and they are the lymphocytes which are present in our body. So, that is basically the B lymphocytes and the T lymphocytes, commonly known as the B cells and the T cells. Then the B lymphocytes, they produce an army of proteins in response to pathogens in our blood, and these proteins fight with the pathogens. These proteins are called antibodies. So they are antibodies called commonly, and because these antibodies are found in the blood, the response is also known as hormonal humoral immune response. So the response is known as humoral immune response. And the T cells themselves do not secrete antibodies, but they help the B cells in the production of the antibodies. So T cells help the B cells in the production of the antibodies, and the T lymphocytes mediate cell-mediated immunity. Therefore, the correct answer becomes option D, that is the B cells and the T cells protect the body from the diseases which are caused by the pathogens by the production of the proteins. Next, consider the following statements in respect of probiotics. First, probiotics are made of both bacteria and yeast. Second, the organisms in probiotics are found in foods we ingest, but they do not naturally occur in our gut. Third, probiotics help in the digestion of milk sugars. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, 1 and 3, 2 and 3. So the correct answer here is option C, that is 1 and 3. So first is correct, third is correct, second is wrong. So let us look at the explanation. So when we talk about the probiotics, now what is a probiotic? So probiotic is a combination of live beneficial bacteria or yeast, and they naturally occur in the body of a human. So first becomes correct. And then if we talk about the probiotic bacteria which is present in the gut of a human, then that is Acidophilus. So Acidophilus is a probiotic bacteria that naturally occurs in the human gut and other parts of the body. And this bacteria helps the digestive system break down sugars such as lactose into lactic acid. So the sugar can be broken down into the lactic acid. So lactose into lactic acid through the Acidophilus bacteria. Therefore, third statement also becomes correct. And there are several ways one can take a probiotic supplement. They can come in the variety of forms like foods, drinks, capsules or pills, powders, liquids. So probiotics are made of both bacteria and yeast, correct. The organisms in probiotics are found in foods we ingest, but they do not naturally occur in our body. It is wrong because they occur in our body. Then probiotics help in the digestion of milk sugar, correct. So first and third is correct. Next, which one of the following is used in preparing a natural mosquito repellent? Congress grass, elephant grass, lemon grass or nut grass? Correct answer is option C, that is lemon grass. So lemongrass is a tall herb. Look at the picture. This is how it looks like. So lemongrass is a tall herb and is abundantly found in the tropical and subtropical areas of Asia, Africa and Australia. Then it is known to be an excellent mosquito repellent, and around 95% of mosquitoes from a specific range of species are either killed or they are completely repelled due to the intense odor of the lemongrass oil. So the odor which comes from the lemongrass oil, it is very, very strong in nature, and because of which the mosquitoes, they move away. So the correct answer of this question becomes option C, that is lemon grass. Next, consider the following animals, that is hedgehog, marmot and pangolin. To reduce the chance of being captured by the predators, which of the above organism rolls up and protects their vulnerable parts? So in order to protect themselves, out of these three, which animals have the capacity to roll themselves up? One and two only, three only, 1 and 3. Correct answer is option D, that is 1 and 3. So hedgehog and pangolin, marmot is the wrong answer. Let us see. So first of all, let us look at the hedgehog. Now look at this picture. This is how hedgehog looks like. Very small in size, and they have a very tiny and very, very sharp spikes on their body, and these spikes protect the hedgehog from any external predators harming the body. So they are small mammals with short limbs and the body very low to the ground. Then their most distinctive characters is the thousands of stiff, sharp and spines which are harder and sharper than those of porcupine, and which are present in the almost at the upper side and at the back side body of the hedgehog. Second, that is the marmot. Now look at the picture. This is how the marmot looks like. So first becomes correct. Marmot is not able to protect itself because the body does not contain any external features which can protect the marmot. So marmot is a rodent of medium size with brown fur, and the brown fur is present on its head, back side, and the yellow fur is also present at the front side. Then this animal is a herbivore eating nuts, leaves, seeds, flowers, grass and grains. Therefore 2 is not correct because it is not able to protect itself from the predators and is not able to roll up his body. Third is the pangolins. They are the only mammal wholly covered in scales, and they use those scales to protect themselves from predators in the wild. Now look at the image. This is how the pangolin looks like. So the upper body of the pangolin, or the scales on the body of the pangolin, it helps in the protection of the pangolins. Therefore marmot gets cancelled. First and third is the correct answer. Option D becomes correct. Next, which of the following are detrivores? Which of the following are detrivores? That is earthworms, jellyfish, millipedes, seahorses and wood lice. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1, 2 and 4 only, 2, 3, 4 and 5 only, 1, 3 and 5 only, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So the correct answer here becomes option C, that is 1, 3 and 5 only. So 1, 3 and 5. So 2 and 4 are wrong. So a detrivore is a heterotrophic organism which obtains its nutrition by feeding on detritus. So basically they feed on to the dead organisms. Then detritus is an organic matter made up of dead plant and animal material. Then detrivores may also obtain nutrition by coprophagy, which is feeding strategy involving the consumption of the fecus. Then detrivores are often invertebrate insects such as mites, beetles, butterflies and flies, mollusks such as slugs and snails, or soil dwelling earthworms, millipedes and woodlice. So earthworm, millipedes and woodlice are examples of detrivores. Then jellyfish is carnivorous in nature, and seahorse is also a carnivorous animal. So they do not feed on the detritus. So detrivores are earthworm, millipedes and woodlice. Correct answer is option C. Next, before moving forward, Drishti IAS has come up with the IAS GS foundation course. So if you want to go for the foundation course preparation, this will be a great opportunity for you. The key features include 1000 plus hours of classes, unlimited view time, and the prelims test series. It is present in the English medium. For any query, give us a call at 87501. You can also download the Drishti Learning app. Next, in the context of hereditary diseases, consider the following statements. Two statements are given. First, passing on mitochondrial diseases from parent to child can be prevented by mitochondrial replacement therapy, either before or after in vitro fertilization of the egg. Second, a child inherits mitochondrial disease entirely from mother and not from father. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. The correct answer is option C, that is both 1 and 2. It means first and second both are correct. Let us talk about it. First of all, what is mitochondrial diseases? Mitochondrial diseases are basically the diseases which affect the energy producing organisms of the body, because mitochondria is known as the powerhouse of the body. It basically provides the power to the body to function in an appropriate and in an right manner. So the technological development which has allowed nearly complete replacement of the cytoplasm of egg or embryo, eliminating the transmission of undesired defective mitochondria for patients with inherited mitochondrial diseases. This is called mitochondrial replacement therapy, and it can prevent the mitochondrial diseases from happening. Then these processes are assisted reproductive technology, including in vitro fertilization, and the father's sperm can fertilize the patient egg before the maternal genetic material is removed or after the maternal genetic material has been transferred to the donor egg. See, when we talk about the biology things, it becomes little technical in knowledge and also in the understanding of it, because this cannot be, it is not like this can happen that way or that way. It is the procedure which needs to be followed, and that is how it is done. Then mitochondria diseases are chronic, genetic, often inherited disorders that occur when mitochondria fails to produce enough energy for the body to function properly. And the mitochondria genome is inherited exclusively from the mother and not from the father. So exclusively from the mother. A child inherits mitochondrial diseases entirely from mother and not from father. Correct. Then the hereditary diseases, passing on mitochondrial diseases from parent to child can be prevented by mitochondrial replacement therapy. That is also correct. Both are correct. Next, which of the following have species that can establish a symbiotic relationship with other organism? Cnidarians, fungi or protozoa? Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3. So the symbiotic relationship is basically when the two organisms are living in coexistence with each other and both are getting something or the other from the other organism. Correct answer is option D. It means all three are correct. Fungi, protozoa, cnidarians. Now let us talk about the three, that is symbiotic relationship between the invertebrate phylum, that is Cnidaria, and the unicellular dinoflagellate like algae. They are known as zooxanthellae. So they are very common and they symbolizes mutualistic interaction with each other. Therefore, statement 1 is correct. Second is the mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza are symbiotic relationships that are formed between fungi and the plants. So between fungi and plants. The fungi colonize the root system of a host plant, providing increased water and nutrient absorption capabilities. Third comes the termites have a mutualistic relationship with a protozoa that live in the insect's gut. So all three, termite, protozoa mycorrhiza, fungi, and then cnidaria and zooxanthellae. So all three have symbiotic relationships. Next, consider the following statements. Two statements are given. First, adenovirus have single-stranded DNA genomes, whereas retroviruses have double-stranded DNA genomes. So adenoviruses and retroviruses both are in question. Second, common cold is sometimes caused by an adenovirus, whereas AIDS is caused by a retrovirus. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. Correct answer becomes option B, that is two only. So first is wrong, second is correct. First is wrong, second is correct. Let us see. Now if we talk about adenovirus, so adenovirus is a type of virus that has no envelope, whereas retrovirus are characterized as enveloped virus. So adenovirus, if it is like this is the virus, then it has no envelope, and if there is retrovirus, it has a envelope with it. And adenovirus are double-stranded linear DNA and are associated with two major core proteins. Retrovirus is a virus that uses RNA as its genetic material. When a retrovirus infects a cell, it makes a DNA copy of its genome and is inserted into the DNA of the host cell. Therefore, first is not correct. So, adenovirus have single-stranded DNA, no, double. And retrovirus has single. Then next is common cold is sometimes caused by adenovirus. Let us see. Okay, adenoviruses are common viruses that can cause a range of illnesses, and they can cause cold-like symptoms, fever, sore throat, bronchitis, pneumonia, diarrhea, and pink eye. Next is retroviruses can cause several human diseases such as some forms of cancer and also AIDS. So statement 2 is also correct. First is not correct, second is correct, because adenovirus causes common cold. Next, water can dissolve more substances than any other liquid, because what is the reason of it? That more substances can get dissolved in water. It is dipolar in nature, it is a good conductor of heat, it has a high value of specific heat, or it has an oxide of hydrogen. The correct answer is option A, that it is dipolar in nature. Now, an important feature of water molecule is its polar nature. Polar nature, because its polar nature allows water to dissolve other polar substances very easily. So because of the polar nature of it, the other molecules or the other substances also gets very easily dissolved inside the water. The two hydrogen atom and one oxygen atom within water molecules. Now water is H2O. So there are two atoms of hydrogen and one single atom of oxygen. Then while there is no net charge to a water molecule, the polarity of water creates a slightly positive charge on the hydrogen and a slightly negative charge on the oxygen, and this positive and the negative charge provides it with a dipolar nature, and a molecule with such a charge difference is called a dipole, and this is what allows all the other substances also to get dissolved inside water very easily. Next, consider the following pairs: objects in space and then description. Cepheids, giant clouds of dust and gas in space. Nebula, stars which brighten and dim periodically. Pulsars, so that is neutron stars that are formed when massive stars run out of fuel and collapse. How many of the above pairs are correctly matched? Only one, only two, all three, none. So the correct answer here is option A, that is only one. So let us see out of these three which one is correctly matched. If we talk about the Cepheids, so the Cepheids stars which brighten and dim periodically, this behavior allows them to be used as cosmic yardstick because they light up and they dim. Then nebula. Nebula is a giant cloud of dust and gas in space. Then some nebula come from the gas and dust thrown out by the explosion of a dying star, and that dying star is known as supernova. So nebulae and Cepheids are interchanged in the question, and that is why they are wrong. So the correct answer is pulsar. Let us talk about pulsar. So pulsar is a neutron star with a strong magnetic field. A strong magnetic field is what they possess. Pulsars are the result of a massive star running out of fuel, collapsing under its own weight and exploding as a supernova. Therefore, third is correct. See, neutron star that are formed when massive stars run out of fuel and they collapse. So, third is correct, that is pulsars. Cepheids and nebula are interchanged. Next. Which one of the following countries has its own satellite navigation system? That is Australia, Canada, Israel or Japan. So, the correct answer is option D, that is Japan. Now, let us look at the navigation systems which are operational around the world. So, that is GPS belongs to US, GLONASS is Russia, Galileo is European Union, Beidou is China, NAVIC is India, important for you to remember, and QZSS belongs to Japan. So, in this question, the correct answer becomes Japan because Canada, Australia and Israel does not possess a satellite navigation system. Before moving forward, Drishti IAS has come up with the IAS prelims test series for you to prepare well for the upcoming prelims UPSC 2025. Within this, comprehensive coverage of both CSAT and GS will be done, subject-wise evaluation, detailed explanation. So, this would be the right opportunity to prepare for the prelims 2025. So, go for it, and in case of any query, give us a call at 87501 87501. Next question is, which one of the following statements best reflects the idea behind the fractional orbital bombardment system often talked about in media? A hypersonic missile is launched into space to counter the asteroid approaching the Earth and explode it in space. Second, a spacecraft lands on another planet after making several orbital motions. Third, a missile is put into a stable orbit around the Earth and deorbits over a target on the Earth. Fourth, a spacecraft moves along a comet with the same speed and places a probe on its surface. So, the correct answer for this is option C. That is, missile is put into a stable orbit around the Earth and then deorbits over a target on the Earth. Let us see this. So, a fractional orbital bombardment system is a warhead delivery system. So, it is a warhead delivery system and it uses the low Earth orbit towards its target destination. And just before reaching the target, it deorbits through a retrograde engine burn. So, if this is the target, just before the target, it deorbits. And the Soviet Union used or first developed the FOBS as a nuclear weapon delivery system during the time of 1960s. And it is one of the first Soviet efforts to use space to deliver nuclear weapons. Therefore, option C becomes the correct answer. Next, which one of the following is the reason why astronomical distances are measured in light years? Distances among stellar bodies do not change. Gravity of stellar bodies does not change. Light always travels in a straight line, and then speed of light is always the same. So, the correct answer is option D, that is the speed of light is always the same. So, a light year is the distance. What is a light year? Light year is a distance a beam of light travels in a single Earth year or around 6 trillion miles. So, it is a distance a beam of light travels in a single Earth year. In one Earth year, what is the amount of light, what is the amount of distance a beam of light can travel? Reasons for using light years to measure distance in space is, so the reason is that the distances we deal with in space are immense, as many astronomical objects like stars, galaxies, they are very, very far away. So, the distance is very much between the Earth and the stars or the galaxies from the Earth, and giving their distances in the kilometers units become very, very inconvenient. And the next is that the light is convenient, as throughout the universe all the light travels at exactly the same speed. So, measuring the distance becomes easy. Therefore, the correct answer becomes option D. Next, the experiment will employ a trio of spacecraft flying in formation in the shape of an equatorial triangle that has sides 1 million kilometers long with lasers with lasers shining between the craft. The experiment in question refers to Voyager 2, New Horizons, LISA, Pathfinder and Evolved LISA. See, this question is of the year 2020, so it becomes an old question. But I've taken this question just to tell you that this question is a way to tell you that questions can be asked in this format. No matter what the answer in this question, whatever is the answer is, this is just an example to tell you that on these lines, and how the statement is given, any, like for example, Chandrayaan 3 can also be asked. Any experiment or any mission of any popular mission of any space agency can be asked like this. The answer for this question was option D, that is Evolved LISA. So let us know a few of the things about it. That is, Evolved Laser Interferometer Space Antenna is a spectacular plan of setting into space these three spacecraft. So 3 spacecrafts into the space, a mother and 2 daughter spacecrafts, which will fly in a triangular formation trailing the Earth in its orbit around the Sun at a distance of around 50 million kilometers. So this experiment will employ a trio of spacecraft flying in the formation in the shape of an equatorial triangle. So this is how you also need to see the other missions. Next, recently scientists observed the merger of a giant black holes billions of light years away from the Earth. What is the significance of this observation? Higgs boson particles were detected, gravitational waves were detected, possibility of intergalactic space travel through wormhole was confirmed. It enabled the scientists to understand singularity. So the correct answer for this was option B, that is gravitational waves were detected. Let us see. So if we talk about the black holes, then every few minutes a pair of black holes smash into each other, and these catalements release ripples in the fabric of space-time, and these are known as the gravitational waves. So the ripples which are formed due to the collision of the black holes, they come in the form of ripples, and that is why this ripple is in the form of a gravitational wave. And gravitational waves are ripples in space-time which is caused by some of the most violent and energetic processes in the universe. And Albert Einstein predicted the existence of gravitational waves in the year 1916 in his theory, general theory of relativity. Therefore, the correct answer of this is gravitational waves were detected, that is option B. Next, that is, for the measurement estimation of which of the following are satellite images or remote sensing data is used? Chlorophyll content in the vegetation of a specific location, greenhouse gas emissions from rice paddies to a specific location, or land surface temperatures of a specific location. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 only, 2 and 3 only, 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3. So the correct answer for this is option D, that is 1, 2 and 3. It means all 3 are correct. Let us look at the explanation. So if we will talk about the satellites which use the hyperspectral remote sensing and imaging spectroscopy technologies to provide detailed spectral information from every pixel in an image. So from a pixel into a image. So HRS refers mostly to remote sensing from a distance, whereas the IS technology covers all spatial spectral domains from microscope to macroscopic. And the various uses of satellite images remote sensing data are, so what are the various uses of it? So that is estimation of water vapor, aerosols in the atmosphere, estimation of chlorophyll, cellulose, canopy, water content of terrestrial vegetation. So first becomes correct. Then estimation of mineral and soil type, land surface temperature, greenhouse gas emissions from the fields. So you see, chlorophyll content correct, greenhouse gas emissions correct, land surface temperature correct. So all 3 becomes correct. Next, consider the following statements. So there are 2 statements given. First is, ballistic missiles are jet propelled at subsonic speeds throughout their flight, while cruise missiles are rocket powered only in the initial phase of flight. Second is, Agni 5 is a medium range supersonic cruise missile whereas BrahMos is a solid fueled intercontinental ballistic missile. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. Correct answer is option D, that is neither 1 nor 2. So if we talk about the Agni 5 missile, which is a medium range supersonic ballistic missile. So Agni 5 is a ballistic missile, not a cruise missile. While on the other hand, BrahMos is a cruise missile, not a ballistic missile. And then first statement, if we talk about, so the ballistic missiles are long range weapons that are designed to be launched into the atmosphere, and they follow a predetermined trajectory primarily through the force of gravity. So if we say that ballistic missiles are jet propelled at subsonic speed throughout their flights, so this is not ballistic missiles, this is cruise missiles. So cruise missiles are basically jet propelled at subsonic speeds and throughout their flights. Next, before moving forward, and this Drishti IAS has come up with the IAS prelims GS plus CSAT online course, so you can prepare from the comfort of your home. And CSAT is something which is becoming scary for the students, and they are afraid of it. So this is the right opportunity for you to prepare your GS plus CSAT simultaneously. Few of the features: 500 plus hours of classes, unlimited watch time, and 30 free tests covering both GS and CSAT. So for any query, give us a call at 87501. And here we end this episode, and next we will be coming up with the second episode of the Science and Tech PYQ. And before ending, let me just tell you that to get the PDF of this, the link is provided in the description box. So the Telegram link is provided in the description box to get the PDFs. And also there is a question pinned up for you people in the comment section. So go and give the answer of that question. And also we have covered the PYQs of subjects like economy, polity, then history. So if you haven't watched it, so go and go into the playlist section of Drishti IAS English and watch all those episodes also, and make your preparation better, because PYQs are the insights. PYQs are you can say the rope through which you can actually see and predict what can be asked in the prelims by the UPSC. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time, keep reading, keep writing, and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.